Yes, and you guys do a great job.
Cindy, we're live.
We're live. Okay. We're live. Okay. I haven't tripped over this yet.
Tell folks, sorry for the delay.
Sorry for the delay, everyone. We had some technical difficulties, and but I think we're good to go now. So today's class is what's the best social media platform for your business, and we just went around the room and got introductions and tried to figure out where they kind of were with social media platforms. It helps me be able to help you better. And if you're at home, we do have a handout, and we can email that to you. You just need to let us know that you need it. So when you're talking about social media for your business, and obviously everybody here is, the first thing you need to do is ask yourself, what was your objective, your goal with it? So I've got the things that come to me very easily when I meet with clients is obviously to increase brand awareness and for you to be found easily online. Someone goes to Google or wherever they go, obviously you want your company to come up. Drive traffic to your website, which we talked about over here, because as you know, the ultimate goal with this is to get business. That's always the goal, which is the next one, increase your sales. Building a community around what you do is also important. What is your name again? The gentleman who's the home. What is it? Dan. Thank you, Dan. Dan's a good example of somebody who could build a community because, let's face it, he does home improvement, and who in this room doesn't need some type of home improvement? I mean, it's very, whether you can do it yourself or whether you need to hire someone like Dan. And if I had Dan come and do work at my house, then, you guys were looking for someone, you'd say, who did that, What if I posted the pictures that you did in my house on social media? My friends would be like, who did that? Who did that? And of course, I would drive them to you. So that's building a community of people who are like-minded and who are interested in what you're doing. So that's important. And you always want to promote your business and your events, your products, services, things that you do. So social media hasn't been around that long. When I started in marketing, we didn't have this option, and we didn't even have websites when we started. So everything was word of mouth, or you put it in the newspaper, and word of mouth was probably the most important thing that we could possibly do back then. Word of mouth is never going to go away in small communities, and I know when I moved here 6 years ago, word of mouth was alive and kicking in this area of the country. My husband is a retired naval submarine officer, and we've moved around a lot, even during his time in the Navy and then after, of course. But moving here from Knoxville, this being a smaller community, I think, I could not believe how word of mouth traveled. You talk to and that's how I've gotten all of my business and all of my clients. It's never been from advertising. It's never been anything except meeting someone and them saying, well, who helps you with that? And then that's how I got to teach classes here. That's how I got to teach classes at Milligan, was just meeting the right person. It was never me having to make that offer. So the Southwest Virginia and Northeast Tennessee area, very, very big for word of mouth. So you keep your clients, customers very happy, and they tell other people. And encourage them to use social media too. If ask them, whatever your position with them. Do you use social media? Are you happy with us? Would you give us a review on our Facebook? Would you, promote something? You with doing what you do with I'm going to refer back to you a lot with home improvement, because my husband and I do a lot of home improvement, and I'm doing home improvement, trying to sell my house right now. But it's such a visual thing that you can put on there, and so you're in the right place. So we're going to talk about Facebook. We're probably going to talk about Facebook the most, because I would think that every single person in this room needs to be on Facebook. We're going to talk about LinkedIn. We're going to talk about Instagram. We're going to talk a little bit about Twitter. I am not a fan of Twitter, so I'm going to be a little negative on that. If you really want to get into Twitter, I think you should dip your toe in it. I think Jared said that earlier. If you want to, but we're going to talk about some reasons about Twitter and my negativity with Twitter. I apologize. And we're going to talk about Pinterest a little bit, which is something that a lot of people don't think of it as much with business, but it has really evolved into more of a business page than I ever really thought it was going to be when it first came out. So we're going to start back. We're going to start, actually, let's start on Instagram. So I've got Instagram pulled up. Anybody here use Instagram for business right now? A little bit. That's right. You're dipping your toe in, so he's like this. You guys use it? How does United Way use it?
Well, we create posts just like you would for Instagram.
Were you able to gain some followers?
Yes, actually. When we first got there, it wasn't having a lot of traffic, wasn't doing a whole lot. But within research and really being consistent with posting and keeping up to date on hashtags and such like that.
Good for you.
We just tried to keep as consistent as possible, and we've seen a steady increase of followers since.
So did you start it after you got there?
It was already made,
but it was
barely being kept up. Yes.
Okay, I find that the case with a lot of things. So, do you have any recommendations on how you built it?
Just on tips
How you
on
built it from being stagnant, just posting a lot?
A lot of it is the content, so you need to know kind of the age group that's on Instagram. You need to check your followers and just make sure you're appealing to what they want to hear, what they might converse. And it is better, you'll see the posts more often, of course, if you post them on a weekly basis or two posts a week, and that consistency is what people depend on.
So that works for you?
So yeah, absolutely.
I love hearing that feedback. It's very good information. It may be different for everyone in here. So what she said about knowing your demographic or your followers is very, very important for every single one of these platforms, and they may be different. So she may have a different group of followers on her Instagram than she might have on her Facebook. And I would bet that there probably are some differences. And do you post differently between the two platforms?
Yes.
Okay, that's a question I get all the time is, can I just take one post and post it across everything? Sure, you can do that, but you're probably not going to gain a lot of followers by doing that. If they do follow you on different platforms, they kind of want to see things changed up a little bit. And so that makes a lot more work. No matter how you slice it, it's a lot more work. That's why one of my biggest recommendations when I sit down with a client who wants to start social media is I say, let's sit down and look at who your audience is going to be or what your demographic looks like. And for sure, we're going to start with Facebook. I mean, 99% of the time we start with Facebook. And realtors, Facebook is where you need to be for sure. So the reason why I say that is because there's more followers and you can kind of get a lot more things done. But I'm going to start with Instagram just because I have it already pulled up. So Instagram is a lot about photos. Your photo tells the story, right? So this particular photo, does this tell you anything? Like when you look at it, does it draw you in? Does it make you want to look at it? Does it make you want to, I mean, I think it's a really interesting photo, right? Does it appeal to anybody else in this room?
It does.
Okay. It appeals to me mainly because that's my nephew. And he just got his wings and he's going to be flying these airplanes. Now he also posted some pictures and wording about this, which I thought was really interesting. So his dad, my brother-in-law, was also an Air Force pilot, and he wrote. Brad, this is my nephew Brad. Brad wrote, "My dad flew the KC-135 in 1984, and here, nearly 30 years later, I'm trying to fly." So what's interesting is he's flying the same plane that his dad flew. The old gal is pushing 64 and doesn't look it. That's what he wrote. But to me, it's really cool. Brad has a private account, and so he doesn't have a lot of followers, but he's single, good-looking pilot, good Christian boy, who's traveling the world. When you see things like this and it draws you in, you should always like it. Don't ever be afraid to like it. When you're starting your Instagram account, you want people to engage with you. Make sure that you not only put a photo, but you also put some wording down there kind of explaining your photo, just like Brad did. He explained that this is the same plane that his dad flew 35 years ago or whatever it was, which is pretty cool when you think about it. If he hadn't put that in there, it would still be an interesting photo. So you've got to find photos that will still, because people are browsing on their phone, mind you. We use Instagram on our phone, and you're going through, the things that you follow. People tend to be picky about what they follow on Instagram. Don't you guys agree? More than Facebook. And so if you want them to follow you as your business, you got to give them a reason to do it. You got to put engaging photos, and you've got to explain your photo a little bit about it, which I think is key. Businesses have a harder time, I think, with Instagram. You kind of alluded to that as well. But once you start getting some followers, they do come, because Instagram will then put your information out when your friends start following it, and suggesting that people might want to follow it. Or if I'm following a lot of diet and nutrition things, it's probably going to suggest that I start following their company, and it's helpful. Home improvement, same thing. One thing that you guys could do if you decided to dip your toe into Instagram is kind of do before and after photos, and those are really big on things. And Instagram allows you to post photos. I don't know if I can find one that actually you can post more. Here, yeah, there's actually 2 photos here with Brad. See the little arrow here? So it allows you to put several photos on there, but you've got to be able to. You'll see the little dots down here. And then you know that there's more than one photo. So if you did a before and after, that's how you could easily do it. You want to make it interesting. You want to make people follow you and see what you're doing. If your business account, it's going to be open, and that's how you're going to get your followers. When you have your private account on, or your personal account, I keep mine private, and I have to allow people to follow me. That's just me on Instagram. I'm kind of funny about that. But Instagram has a younger audience. So if your demographic for who you want to get in front of is not a younger audience, and it's mostly women, you may not want to dip your toe in yet. But the best businesses this is for are the beauty industry, fashion, food, travel, retail related. Those, food is big on Instagram. Big on Instagram. People go to a restaurant and they post pictures of their beautiful desserts or things like that. I'm guilty of that myself. And a couple years ago, I was in New York City, and we went into this big hotel restaurant, and we just wanted a snack, and I ordered this dessert, and it was like an 11-layer cake. And I mean, y'all, it was like this big. And I don't know how they served it, because they cut it, and it was like up like this. And of course, I took a picture of that because, and I counted all the layers, and stuff. And I did not eat it all, but it was so worthy of sharing. Like, wow, look at this. This is amazing. That's kind of what you want. Is something. Not you, obviously. Nerd diet nutrition. It's like, don't do a 7-layer cake. Sorry, I didn't eat it all. But when you see things like that, flowers, beautiful. Springtime's coming up. When you see things like that. So promoting on Instagram your business doesn't always have to be business. In fact, on all of these, I'm going to say the same thing, that sometimes you have to mix a few fun things in there too, to let people know that you are human. And at the end of the whole thing, it is interesting. We're not just going to push our business to you all the time. The one exception might be your company. Well, I mean, you can always put stuff in there, but I'm just thinking you might have enough pictures and things that would draw people in just with your before and afters and you could tie it into different things too. A front yard of a home that you've worked on or something that has flowers coming up or something. You can always tie it in. So anyway, any questions on Instagram? Okay, so now we're going to jump back. We're going to go to Facebook because this is really where everybody should be. So,
I do have a question about Instagram.
Sure.
Is, like, for us, where we are pretty much appealing to the older generation, for senior citizens and things, I have not seen, we've had discussions with other people, I don't see the need for Instagram, because
I don't either.
Instagram.
Not for you. Not for you. You're gonna be on Facebook.
Okay.
You guys, and this is, I would think everyone in this room should be on Facebook, but you guys, you may not need to do anything else, quite honestly. So you could like doodle or whatever during these other conversations that we're having. You don't have to really pay attention. But yeah, you can talk on the phone. You do whatever. I think Facebook is where it's at for you, and the reason why, if you look at your cheat sheet, is that Facebook, the demographic is mainly older people. Now, the demographic is high for like 40 and older, and mostly women. With you guys too, you might even think about starting a Facebook group related to something that you guys do. Anybody could do this. Groups are where it's happening, but so you can start a group, and then people look for groups that are interested in, with you guys, with your senior transportation. I mean, you could do a couple of groups. There's no laws or rhymes or reason for, you could do a couple, test them out and see if people want to join and you invite your friends to join it and things like that, clients. But start your Facebook page. Did you start your Facebook page yet?
We have not, because we're not, like, I haven't get it at all.
Yeah.
So I just deleted it. But so
You need to start your Facebook page, even if you haven't started your business up, and that way you've grabbed it, even if you do nothing else with it. Who else did that? Someone else here said that they started their Facebook page, but they're not doing anything with it. Was it you, Erin? Yeah. So she went ahead and proactively just got it going, because that's half the battle, is setting it all up and going behind the scenes and setting up your privacy settings and all of that. And you don't have to do anything with it. And then you can start putting information into it when you're ready and your business is up. Or you could even do some, coming soon or things like that too, just to have something up there. But it's okay to do that.
I started the group page or group for the previous business challenge contestants.
Yeah? It didn't work right.
I didn't do it right. I did something wrong. Because they can't, and I know I needed to make some other people administrators, but I didn't do it.
I think we talked about this a couple months ago when we were trying to look and see how it was set up.
Yeah, I didn't even finish inviting people to the page because I didn't,
Now, was it a page or was it a group?
Sandy didn't. I don't know.
Okay. So there's a difference, now that Kathy's brought it up, you get your page for your business set up, and that's your business page. You can't do your page without having a personal Facebook account too. So your business page it's kind of run, well, it's not really run through your personal account, but you represent yourself unless you put the down arrow and represent the company when you do your post, which you absolutely should. Once you get your page up, you can start inviting people to like your page. So so let me pull up a page. So even right here it says you can add yourself to a team. I haven't done that. This is so this is a page that I run for a nonprofit. So when you go and set this page up, you're going to go into the privacy and settings. You're going to have a little photo of your logo. Hopefully, will go there, and then you're going to do your header, and you're going to want to change your header out seasonally, if not more often than that, and just to kind of keep it more interested. People don't want to go to a page that there's not something going on. You guys probably know this very well at United Way. And then all your settings are up here. Be sure to go up and play with all your settings and know exactly, understand them. It's important to do that. I'm not going to go through that today because it would take 2 hours. Your publishing tools is one of the most important things within Facebook. So you can have an online scheduler for most of your platforms, and that means that you either pay or you get a free one that you can go in and schedule out posts that are going to come in the future. But on Facebook, my recommendation is always to do that within Facebook because they have wonderful analytics. So your Facebook post should be scheduled within Facebook. And if you choose to do it through Hootsuite or Buffer or something, do you guys do stuff like that or do you it within? Okay. And I used Buffer for many, many years and have had kind of some issues with some things where all of a sudden I'd get in a notice that my scheduled post wasn't scheduled for some reason. There was like some kind of disconnect, and I was running like 10 different social media platforms, and you can't have that. You gotta, and I was getting real frustrated, so I don't know why Buffer would do that all the time. So I started doing all my Facebook posts on Facebook, and I've been really happy because look at all the analytics that you get. These are posts that I've already scheduled or already had posted, and it gives you the post, it tells you your reach, and it tells you, who posted it and what time, and all the people who clicked on the post. This is not a big Facebook group, so those analytics are really, really good, considering they're organic. This is like a normal, just low kind of thing. So, I say organic, meaning I didn't boost the post or do an ad or anything associated with it so that you know what that means. But do you have a question?
I do. So is there a difference in the page and the group?
Yes.
So if I created a group within Virginia County Small Business Incubator page,
You probably did a group.
I think I did too, but
Yeah.
people aren't receiving it or something. Would that be just in the settings maybe?
It would probably be, and if you can pull it up on a computer or we can pull it up on here and look at it, we can probably figure out, I'm going to say probably, but we'll cross our fingers. I remember looking at it on your phone, and there was something on your phone, but the phone, when I'm working with my settings, I'm just going to be upfront about that. I like to do it on my computer. Jonathan?
She was trying to push from Pinterest to Facebook. That's what it was.
Jonathan was the one.
Yeah,
Instagram.
my personal was Instagram and Facebook. That's another whole issue. But this
that was another
That's what we were looking at.
Yeah.
That's right. You and I were looking at it, trying to figure it out for her. But when I mess with my settings or do anything, even when I set up my posts, it's probably just because I'm a little older. These guys probably don't agree, but I do it on my computer. I don't do it on my phone if I can help it. I feel like there's glitches. Sometimes things don't connect. Sometimes, I can't tell you how many times I know that I posted something, or if I'm out and I see something. If I'm sitting in the doctor's office, I say, oh, that's kind of cool. I'm going to share that with this client. And I share it, and it doesn't go through for some reason. Maybe the Wi-Fi dropped, or maybe my phone I don't know. And I'll get home, and I'll pull it up, and it's not there. And you know that you did it. And at least on my computer, I'm pretty sure it did happen. So you can schedule posts in here, and this is where you schedule posts. You just create and blah, 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 and do that. It's very easy when you walk through it. Don't be intimidated by it. And does anybody schedule posts now within Facebook? You do, Victoria? And any?
For my publishing business, but I'm an author, and so when I have book events and things like that, then I want it to go out at a certain time for people to know about or schedule the event.
Good, good. Yes, John?
I post them at a scheduled time mostly because I don't want people to know that I found it at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yes. Very good. I'll never. Why is Jonathan up at 2 o'clock in the morning?
Because I haven't gone to bed that early yet.
And I understand that. So scheduling posts, I will schedule when I am really cooking on stuff. I will schedule a month in advance for different clients and schedule it out. And I've done a class on that, and maybe some of you were in that class where you use a social media calendar and you kind of go in and you do all your postings, and it makes my life so much easier because I can go on vacation, I can go do whatever I want. I don't even have to have Wi-Fi, although that does make me nervous if you can't check and make sure things are kind of posted and moving along. And but I do agree with doing your scheduled posts. I think that it's definitely the way to go. And you guys, I would concentrate only on Facebook for right now, and your website, of course, and then figure out if you want to do anything else. But I would say probably you don't need to. I think your demographic audience is going to be on Facebook, and if they're not on it, if they're way older and they're not on it, although my 89-year-old father is on Facebook, so but their children are going to be where they can push things or get the information. That's your audience as well. You've kind of got a two-prong thing with that. So use your scheduling tool and be sure, and I see this a lot, when you start your business Facebook page, that you actually create it as a business page. That's because you can get your analytics. Don't start it as a personal page. One of the biggest ways that you'll know you got the right one is people can't friend you as a business page. They can only like your page. That's what you want. You want people to be able to like and follow your page. If you start it and its friend request is up there, you've done the wrong page. You need to get out of that, and you won't have the analytics and you won't have the things that you need with a personal page. Plus, Facebook won't allow a business to have a personal page. So if they find it, they'll shut it down.
So do you show us how to do just the business?
I don't have time to do that today, but you're, let's see what so when you're going to go, these are my grandbabies, aren't they adorable? So this would be your personal page.
Okay.
From there, you're going to go, you're going to start a page, and I can't see where it is right now. It looks like they've changed it. The manage groups. You're going to look and dig around in here and look until you can find start a business page. And you can even Google it. There's nothing wrong with, I had to do that the other night with something on Facebook that somebody had asked me, and I said, that used to be this way, and then they switched it. And when you don't do all the settings every day, they do move things around. You can go to Google, and it's simple, and I'll show you, like, see, it already knows what I'm going to say. And it is actually going to walk me through 7 simple steps of doing it. And that's a Hootsuite, but usually Facebook comes up first with their little tutorials. They have great tutorials, as does LinkedIn. And so yeah, here's the Facebook. Create your business presence on here. So there's a lot on there. Just follow the steps. It really is easy. The hardest thing is, and I encourage you to do it ahead of time so that you don't feel like you're under pressure. You just do it. You don't even have to put a photo up there right now. You can make your list of things. Okay, I've done this. I need a photo. I need, do you have your website URL? Yeah, so you already can put that in there, because it's going to ask you as a business, do you have this, this, and this? If you, phone number, it's going to ask you things like that, and most of them are not mandatory fields. If they are a mandatory field, then you may have to stop where you're at, but most of them are not. And so that's how you do it. It's not hard. It's just more sitting down and having the time to do it. You can go back to it and finish it later, and then go into your settings and make sure that your settings are appropriate. You know, with things like, do you want comments turned on? Do you want, you know, I always have a like a level on mine, all the pages that I run of not being able to have cuss words and things like that on them. And so there's things that you can adjust to make sure. You can even put certain words that you do not want on your page at all, so that if you do have comments, you can actually put those words, you know, in there and they will be blocked. They've done a lot more than it used to. You guys will really want to have reviews, and you'll want to encourage people to give reviews on Facebook. Those are really big, really, really big. You will also, when you first start, not just you, I don't mean to just pick on you, but you may want to boost some posts. So when you create a post, you may want to pay $10 for a few days to boost it out in front of your audience. So when you boost a post, I don't want to boost a post today, but I'll show you pretty much what it's like. There it is right here, da 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 da, right here. So you go here and page, mine's just like, do you want another page? So when you want to boost a post, for instance, you can take any of the posts. This is loading, hold on. And actually pay a little money to boost it if it's something that you wanted to do it. See right here, it's that easy. You can boost it. And when you go into, I'm not going to do it because it's going to bug me to keep boosting it, but when you go into it, it brings you to a page that says, who's your audience? It really helps you a lot. In fact, I encourage everyone in here, if you've never boosted a post, even if it's $10, because you just put your credit card in. You've done it?
Oh yeah, it drives a lot of traffic to both our page and our website. It's been great.
Did you spend very much money?
I think I can actually bring it up now. Since we started in December of last year, as far as Facebook posting and getting the page going, I think we spent less than $250
For the whole year?
for the whole thing, yeah.
Okay.
And we probably spent more than most, but we're also a very early startup and we're trying to get our name out.
Yes. You're a very good example of that. So do you do like 25 at a time, or?
Usually, honestly,
Okay.
I think we only have one that we paid more than 25.
But you must have thought it was worth it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I encourage this when you have an event or when you have something you really want to put out there, when you're starting up and you want to get those followers, to boost your post out there. I think it, Jared, tell me, when you go in to boost your post, it asks you your audience and everything, right?
You can dial it down to, you can even specify demographics, you can do geographical area.
You guys would be geographical area for sure, and your demographics, but you don't want to just have your age group like 75 and older. You may even want the younger people who might be doing it for their parents or grandparents too, so you've got to take that into consideration. But definitely geographical area, because you're not going to want to drive to, I don't.
It's pretty borderless. I'm from here, or I'm from Kingsport, so we're able to dial it into Kingsport, Abington, Bristol, and my wife's from Wyoming, so she can actually.
She's from Wyoming?
She is, and she can actually put her hometown there as well, within a 50-mile radius there to hit the people that she grew up with.
Great.
So it works both ways.
Yeah.
So does it just boost the people that's already following you, or
No.
does it help you get more followers?
Yeah. Yes. It increases your engagement. So it's your so one of the and you chime in anytime. So one of the questions is, do you want to boost this to friends of people who already follow you? And that's, to me, that's key, because if your friends are doing it, a lot of us do what our friends are doing, if you know what I mean. So it's more likely that I will follow a page or do something, engage with a page if I know one of my friends is doing it. Just like Facebook does the ads now, where it'll say, Cindy likes this, and it'll be a product because I happen to click on it. I find that a little annoying, honestly, and I don't need people to know that I shop at Belk or whatever, but but it still is like, oh, well, maybe I should look at this too, you know. So on the flip side, non-consumer, for your business, it's good. As a consumer, you have to understand, oh, am I going to engage with this or not? You understand what I'm saying? But you can do friends of your followers. If you don't have a lot of followers yet, you want to be more shotgun with it, like go out a little bit further. What is your geographical area?
Just Washington County, Smith County.
Okay, so you can actually put that in there and make it that your geographical area so it doesn't go to Wyoming. That would not serve you any purpose. You'd be like, sorry. So it's very helpful. And you can go in there and play around with it before you actually boost a post. And you put a credit card in there, and it holds it so that when you want to do it again, it can, it'll have it already stored in there.
Also, when we first started doing it, Facebook was good at giving us like a credit. Like, here's free
Yeah,
$10
they're still doing
Well, I
that.
know, that's what I'm saying, but that's free. That's just free.
Yeah, so once you start doing it, and they want to encourage you to do more, which is why I'm not going to click on this, because they will not leave me alone about finishing boosting this post.
$10 free every day.
Yeah, so he's absolutely 100% correct. They're very smart about that. So you do a $10 boost, for instance, for 3 days. I always do them for a short amount of time. I feel like shorter's better. Say I do 3 days, and I boost a post, and I'm looking, and you've got to design your post and make it attractive, and maybe it's that you are opening your business. Hey, but you don't want to have it for 2 weeks. You want to just keep it for like 3 days. Just see what happens. Look at your analytics. Pull it all up. See if it's working. If it's not, you might want to try it again and do $20 or $15 next time. Do it for a little bit longer, maybe 5 days. And I guarantee you Facebook will start sending you credits. And they'll say, hey, here's a $10 credit. Well, you can use that credit and put, and maybe do a $30 post, but it's only going to cost you $20. And they do get you with it, but it helps. It helps. And if you're
You have to be careful with those credits. I did that once with the incubators page, and apparently I did not go back into the settings and say how long that $10, that post
Yeah.
was. And so the credit card bill came out and it was $125.
That's a good point. It'll ask you your duration. Don't leave that blank. Don't let that be they'll self-feed it. You put your duration. I am big on 3 days, 5 days max, and because I like to look at it. Even if it's a contest or even if it's an event, I'm not going to, if my event is 2 months away, I'm not going to do something today and have it run 2 months. I'm going to have it run for like 5 days. Then maybe a week or two later, do another one for like three or 4 days. And I do not, because like Kathy said, your bill will be astronomical for 2 months. It won't just be $10.
There's also an option to cap it off at a certain price point. Like if you only want to spend $10, you can put that in there as well.
And I don't think it would do a thing for 2 months, do you?
No, probably not.
For $10, you get what you pay for, folks.
And I think you can put a cap on how much you want to put on your credit card.
Absolutely.
That's,
you can.
yeah, absolutely. So you just got to know your settings, be familiar with it. But I do encourage you to try it and do it really low for the lowest amount for the shortest amount of days. 3 days is probably the lowest I would do. I wouldn't do it for any less than that. And just see it. Watch your analytics, watch things, see if you get more likes. Pay attention to all of that. When I take over a Facebook page for a business, it's usually because things aren't happening, there's not engagement, and so I pay real close attention to the followers and the likes that we have and the interaction so that I can take it back to my client and say, well, look, we went from here to here in a short amount of time, and I spent $50 or whatever, but now we've got all these people following us and liking, and they're engaging in your page, which ultimately you want to result with going to your website or whatever the wherever you're driving them to close the deal and to have something happen. Or if you're a realtor, it may not happen for a while, but when people are needing a realtor and they've seen some of your stuff, you want them to be on the, you want your name on the tip of their tongue of, I just saw this, and to contact you. So things don't always happen like that, but you want them to eventually happen. The events. Who mentioned events earlier? Somebody talked about okay. So when you have a company page, take advantage of events. So what you do with an event, so you guys do events. Throw an event out that you would have coming up. Would it,
Our Impact Awards.
oh yeah, that's huge with the women and okay. So they could create an event, which I'm sure they probably did, and you just click that and you put the information about the event. Always put a picture because pictures draw people to it. Every single post you need to have a photo. That's so important. If you need to get stock photos, if you need to use something like Canva, C-A-N-V-A, I highly recommend that to design your posts. And and then there's a free option for Canva. I've been using that for years, and I love it. And I'll pull it up and show it to you real quick if you want. Anybody use Canva? Use it, Samantha? Yeah. So Canva there's a free option, but I have a paid option. You can do yeah. CRHH. Yeah. I'll put it out on the website later. Okay. Yeah. So if you're doing a social media post, Facebook post, you want to create a logo. It does all kinds of stuff on here. It does custom dimensions. That's why, like, if you want to just click on something, it's as easy as it looks, basically. And so if you wanted to, these are some, I can go to My Designs, and I can look at, my designs in here. This is a design. I actually took that picture of the church and I added the trees and the cross and all the snow and stuff like that. I added all that in Canva because I wanted it to look more Christmassy, and it was just a plain picture. And so you can do things like that are kind of cool. And you can have folders down here for different aspects of your business, or if you run different businesses like I do, I can have a folder and I can design something and throw it in that folder. And I just love it. And I'm not a paid spokesman. It has photos in Canva that are free to use, and so it's got trending photos. It's got all kinds of stuff. You can put any topic in here that you want. Let's say a new home, and then and things will come up that you can use. And if it has a dollar sign, you're supposed to pay for it. But so we want to click the free, and only the free ones will come up on your. So whatever topic when you guys start creating yours, you could use something like this, and even put like like senior citizen or transportation, and let's see what comes up with senior. Maybe it's coming up with high school. I guess we've got to put citizen. So it's got photos that you could probably use for things. No, that's not a senior citizen. I don't get that. So that you could pull out and use. Transportation, things like that. You take a lot of pictures of your transportation and things like that. And even if you use any photos that you take of your customers, just ask their permission. Some places have like a little thing that they sign to give permission for it, and you might even want to come up with that and Google the legal aspect of that to use someone's photo just to protect yourself in case somebody came back. But real life photos, I think, are very valuable in what you're doing, and no matter what business you're in. That's why I keep the home improvement business. That's a great one. See, any questions about something like that? I'm not telling you have to use Canva, but it is an easy one to use. You can also have an account with like iStock photos and things like that too, because you may need to use them from time to time. Because you do run out of stuff of your own at times. Or there may be a holiday. Facebook and Instagram, if you're on those, do not ever miss a patriotic holiday. I don't care what your business is. you know, 4th of July, Veterans Day, Memorial Day, every single Martin Luther King Day, you know, put a picture of him up there with a quote. Don't miss those opportunities to put something out there. It has nothing to do with your business, but people want to do business with people who are like-minded. And if they see things like that, it tugs at them a little bit, you know. You can find pictures in Canva of Martin Luther King. You know, be careful of using things like Google Images because they may have a protected, what's that called? They're not Creative Commons allowed, where they are on things like Canva. So if you go in there, if you go into Google Images and you just pull things, you might be using someone's photo illegally, and you don't want to get slapped with a lawsuit or anything like that. It's not worth it. And but anyway, I found Canva several years ago, probably 10 years ago, and I've been using it, and I'm a paid subscriber. I think it's about $250 a year for anybody who does want to pay for it. You know, I put it on my taxes and write it off, but it's well worth it if you use it a lot. And you can create designs that just look professional. So you don't have, you know, it'll have templates and all kinds of stuff. You know, here's all your templates that you can use. I mean, it's great. So it saves me a lot of time. Let's just put it that way. Any questions on something like that? So we're going to go back to events where you create your event. Once you've created your event and you put the information, the dates, the times, what the event's about, then you just click post. It's going to come up on your Facebook page for your company, but you're also going to have the opportunity at that point to invite people to the event. And I definitely encourage you to invite people to that event that already like your Facebook page or your friends. Stepping back a little bit, not just talking about events. When you get your page started up, if you've got a lot of friends on Facebook and family, invite them to like your page. That'll get things started. Don't be afraid to do it. Just do it. They, you know, like sisters, brothers, cousins, uncles, you know, all that kind of stuff. Friends that know you're doing the business. They may not ever be clients or customers, but your family's going to support you. Your neighbors are going to support you. Your church family is going to support you with your business, and that's where their business probably will come from.
And
Is
Cindy, our
friends of friends.
Tim Flanagan put on Facebook that he uses Canva to resize videos too.
Oh.
For Instagram, to post on Instagram, you can use the template.
That.
And use that the Instagram template on Canva to make it work. And also, Canva's allowing you, if you have something that's got a background image, you can make that background transparent too. That's something.
Oh yeah. That's actually, yeah. So you can take what she's talking about is something that has. I don't know if I have anything like that, but I could take this photo and make it into a design and make it more transparent. Like what? Where's my? Anyway, you click on it, and right here is your transparency to make it lighter, and it's still back there, but you could have your words in front of it, your logo, all that kind of stuff. So for instance, you guys could have one of your vehicles parked up with mountains in the background, make it real transparent, and then put words in front of it or something to make that your Facebook cover photo, something like that. So yeah, Canva's the bomb. There's a lot of other ones out there too, but this is the one that I have fallen in love with, and I just keep it. And so I can't recommend it enough. And that was an unpaid advertisement. I wish it was not. So you're going to create your online brand on Facebook. You're going to create events. It's so easy to create events. The other thing is, and you should do this with other businesses. So me as Cindy, if I see your women, what's the award's name?
Women United or Women of Distinction.
Women of Distinction coming up, and it's an event. If I see it, I probably can't go because I'm not going to be here at the time. It's probably in April or May, but I can put that I'm interested. There's these buttons. There's not interested or no or something, and then there's a interested, and then there's a I'm attending or something. Click interested for any company that you want to help support, because then that goes out to all of my friends that I'm interested in that event and helps promote that event. So, and from a personal level, when you're doing something like that, go in as yourself and say that you're going or that you're interested. Those two buttons that you click will be ones that will be promoted out to your friends. And that can go really far. People who have a small Facebook page that don't have a lot of engagement or maybe a lot of people, encourage other people, you know, call your mom, call your sister, you know, say, hey, will you check interested for this? And especially at first when you're trying to get things going, it goes a long way. It really does. If you're active on Facebook, you've probably seen that a lot, where people will say, Cindy's interested in this event, or Cindy's going to this event. And it's kind of a twofold thing. I think Facebook helps promote it that way, and I think it's wonderful. But when I see it, and it's a friend of mine going to something, I'll be like, oh, maybe I should look at going to that. You know, and then I look at the event to think, maybe I want to go to that Brew Fest too, or whatever it is. So it's kind of twofold, but don't ignore those, and don't be afraid to click on them. It's very, very helpful for the business or organization and your that you did that. And also lost my train of thought. I was going to say something else about the events. Anyway, do your event and keep promoting it until the event comes. You can actually do RSVPs through the event too, but you ultimately want to drive them to your website. So if you could do a landing page on your website where you could take your RSVPs and money and stuff, that would even be better. That's probably what you guys do, or go to Eventbrite or something. You could do that too. So anybody use Eventbrite or any of those for
You know, with the high school chorus, we did that for a while and sold tickets to it.
Yeah.
And I'm an administrator on the county fair page, and we do all kinds of things. And we haven't sold tickets through it, but I was listening to what you said. I run like 3 rock bands that I've been participating in, and our business, and so I'm always on there. So a couple of the things that I run across is sometimes, depending on the platform, things work well and some don't.
True.
And like you can't even tell what you're posting as unless you really pay attention to, like, I want to go on my page and share.
Because you have so many.
Well, even if you have one, it could be either your page, or it could be.
Are you talking about on your computer or on your phone?
Well, either one.
Yeah.
I use my phone.
Do you have glasses? Just ask.
I got bifocals in my contacts.
Oh, okay, yeah. I
Yeah,
honestly,
it's hard to see.
because I'm a senior citizen, I have to put my glasses on to kind of see. These two young ladies don't, they're just
Yeah.
laughing. They're like, ha.
Yeah, I mean, they're really, funny.
They-
Wait till you're 40.
Yeah.
You see now, so.
Okay, well, you know what I'm saying. And these, by the way, these new fangled
Yeah.
contacts, they're bifocals, they're trifocals or something, but they don't work. They're not good for distance or close.
So are you driving right now? just
I'm using the force.
public service announcement. If you see him go to the parking lot, just be really careful.
Service you if you need a ride.
It's a matter of being
You guys are amazing. That was perfect. See? Okay, that was great. But I do agree with you that it's very hard. So what I think you're saying is that when you post as yourself, am I right?
It used to be a lot easier, and
Yeah.
sometimes either the app or the computer will, like if I go look on one of the band pages I'm on, and we post an event, and I'll post it as an administrator, and go look as myself and try to share it, I have to look and double check, and make sure that I'm not sharing it.
And sometimes it won't let you.
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes
So-
it defaults, and sometimes it.
What he's talking about is, say, let's look at this page, this post right here. So right here, see how tiny this is?
Yeah.
At least it's tiny on my screen.
Yeah.
But that's posting as Franklin Realty. I can click on that and it'll say, what do you want to post as? Do you want to post as you? And then I could comment as myself on here. Or I could like it as myself, like that. I just posted it as myself. If you run other pages, and they're kind of connected, or you could actually click on one of the other pages and like it as that other page too. So if you happen to run more than one page, you have to be very careful, mindful.
And even like if I'm in some groups like Ludwig drum owners, and so musicians that have those, and so you go and you can do things to the group, but you have to be careful not.
You have to be careful who you're
The other
representing.
thing is with the events you were talking about, I've just about shot holes in my computer the way that thing works, because if you like it.
I don't think you could hit your computer with those
I know.
contacts on. Go ahead.
But if you like it, and sometimes if I just open it, it just keeps coming
Oh,
up
I know.
all the time. And I think I put interested to the Garth Brooks concert,
Yeah.
and whoever the administrator is was sending out crap daily.
Oh.
And I just had to
Unfollow it.
cancel. Yeah, and so it's kind of a double-edged sword. If you got a
It
bunch
is.
of them going there, that's all you see.
Yeah, I agree. So from a consumer standpoint, it can be a pain, watch out what you are interested in and what you click on. From the business side, you want to be mindful and respectful not to send out
Right.
crap, as he just said, constantly on something and bothering people, because the last thing you want is for them to unlike your page or unfollow you.
Well, just quickly, so the thing I wanted to see, if you have any thoughts on, like, helpful thoughts about,
Probably
other
not.
than what we've talked about, is there any trickery to managing that stuff?
No, not that I know of.
And Facebook changes it all the time.
All the time. Tomorrow will be completely different, and we'll have a button we can push. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I unfollow and unlike pages and people too. It's like, especially if they post politics, I'm like, I'm out of here. But you can unfollow without unliking too. So those are two different things. I will like a page, but I may not follow what is up there. So I may do it to support a friend who's got a business, but I don't necessarily want to see the stuff, which is exactly what you don't want. You want someone who wants to see your stuff. So I am not a good example of that, but I don't have an answer exactly for what you just said. It's when you're on there a lot like you are and you're multitasking like you are, it sounds very similar to a lot of the stuff that I do with clients, and I have to always be mindful. Am I posting as the right person or the right company? Who do you represent? And then and I've made mistakes. So you do have to be careful. On your phone, you're more likely to make mistakes than you would be on the
That's how
computer.
you learn this. You do something, it's like, oh, I didn't mean to do that. You see it come up later.
Or you get a phone call from a client, like they say, I'm like, it's a glitch. So you can do contests too. Do you want to talk about contests at all, Jared?
We have done, we've done a couple, and we've had good success with it. We combined it with Facebook Live posts.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, we did, in order to just sort of advertise it at the very beginning.
Do you use Facebook Live very often?
Not as often as we should. We want to get into it more.
Does anybody know what Facebook Live is? Okay.
But we haven't gone into it as much.
Okay.
We all see these things as potential, but we haven't been able to dive into it as yet because we're only so many hours in a day.
Yeah, I'm one of those. Again, I'm not the best example of that kind of stuff, because I see the videos of, especially if someone's just got their phone in front of them and they're just doing a video like this, and I'm I tune out and I'm gone. I don't watch that kind of stuff. But I may not be the typical, and I don't know what you're doing for Facebook Live, but and then you're not making anything long, I'm sure, because you're gonna keep them really short.
Yeah.
Really short.
More powerful, more quality than.
Yeah, I have a friend who was doing a business. She still has her business, and it's going great, but I sat down with her to do some consulting, and she couldn't figure out why her Facebook Live videos were not. But she sat in her car, and she talked for like 30 minutes into her, about her product, and I'm like, I'm checked out. I mean, I have a short attention span, so I'm not a good example, but I mean, you got about 3 seconds of my attention, and then I'm like, I'm out of here. and I don't know what the average is with stuff like that, but I do know they say keep them short, like 30 seconds versus 30 minutes, you know. Oh yeah, commercial. So if you know, just be mindful of that. That your audience has a short attention span, probably like I do. You know, we're all kind of like this, and if you do dive into videos and things, I think they're wonderful. But just do them well, and you know, promote what you want to promote, and you know, there are the thing though. But contests. I'm sorry, I interrupted you. You were. Facebook contests can be very, very good for engagement. So you can give away tickets to your event. And you could do, I use a contest app. There's a bunch of them out there. But I use contests for pages where it connects and you can, and it automatically picks your winner and things like that too, which is nice. But I use them for two different things. One is when I'm trying to build engagement on a page. And I've also used them to gather email addresses for MailChimp or contact information. And you can create your own page with the information. Like if I click that I want to enter this contest to win, you know, a bouquet of flowers on Valentine's Day. So I click on it, and you create, the business, a whole landing page in this contest for pages where you can gather what information you want and make it short. Don't ask people for blood type and all kinds of stuff. You know, they're gonna check out. But obviously get their email address and their name. Did you ask for someone's blood type, Victoria? You're laughing over there. Yeah, it's a no. Yeah, yeah. I'm O negative, by the way. But be sure that you keep it short and you get the information you want. You may not need their business address or their home address, but they may be something that's important to you. And you know, just depends on what you're trying to build. If you're trying to build like a MailChimp list or a constant contact list, email is the most important thing. And you could try it with that and run your contest for a few days, maybe a week or so. You guys could give away something like, you know, free transportation, you know, for somebody, or you know, try to keep it related to your business as much as possible. Sometimes it can't be. Sometimes you have to, you know, give away a gift card for something. I work with realtors and insurance companies, and it's a little bit trickier for them sometimes because they're not going to give away a home, obviously. But they'll give away like a gift card for a restaurant or a local business that they want to support or something. So you can do things like that too. When I worked at Eastman, we would have, we were in specialty plastics, and we would have water bottles, really nice water bottles that were made out of this Triton plastic, actually an Eastman one right there, made out of Eastman plastic, by the way. So you could take that out in the parking lot and run over it with your car and it won't break. And I used to make videos on that. But let's go do it right now. No, just kidding. But like, so we would give away a water bottle like that, for instance. And of course, it is Eastman, and we had a 25,000 followers, but we would have like 10,000 people sign up to win a water bottle. It was just incredible. I'm like, wow, they'll just do anything for you know. So also be mindful of whatever you give away, you got to ship to them, most likely, unless you're a local business and you have a storefront and you want to drive people to your store, which is always a good idea too if you have a storefront, because that gets people in the door and they may end up spending more money. If you have a boutique or something like that, it's a great way to get people in your business. So when you get hit up and asked to give something to a charity or a silent auction, I always tell those businesses to give away a gift card for something or a gift certificate for your business or your store to get them in there. And anyway, we've talked a lot about Facebook, which I told you we would, but anybody have any questions on Facebook?
Does the Facebook Live, is that like the algorithm off? Do you get more with Facebook Live than you would just a regular post?
It just depends. Jared, you can answer
we
that.
have less traffic on Facebook Live than we've had through spending $10 to boost a post.
That's what I
But
see
then
too.
again, maybe we're doing it wrong. So like I said, I had very little.
But you're
experience,
testing
so
it all out, which is great.
are.
And you're watching your
Absolutely.
analytics, which is what I value the most in something like that. when you try it, make sure you go back in the back end and look at what you got for it. And it could be the time of day you posted or the day of week or something. So if you've done something once and it didn't work, please do it again and maybe do it a different time of day or and see if things, if it doesn't, then maybe that's not going to work for you. Or maybe not yet.
Right,
I mean, I had people tell me all the time, well, I tried that and it didn't work. I'm like, well, let's try it again, because sometimes it's just timing on everything. You just really don't know. And I can't even tell you, when I go over clients, over what I've put on their posts and when their posts are scheduled and they go out, sometimes there's something that is just blown out of the water with clicks and things like that. And we can't even figure out why that's different, because it's not like a certain time of, it doesn't, sometimes it just doesn't interact. Or it could just be 2 or 3 people in one family sometimes that say, hey, you should look at this, you should look at this, and they're sharing it with each other and it blows everything up, because then when they share it on their page, everybody sees it. You never really can track all that down, especially when you want to look at who shared it. If you've got a post that people, that has shares on it, see, here's one for instance. When you click on to see as an administrator who shared it, now I can see this one, but sometimes because of their privacy settings, if it's just to their friends, you don't even know who shared it. And I think as administrator, we should be able to see that. That's one of my pet peeves.
Back on live stream, I will mention, when I live stream our worship service at church, we may have 80 to 90 people view it, but that afternoon I boost it, and for 2 days, and we can have over 800, with 160 some of them viewing all the way through.
Wow.
That is huge.
Because it depends on, maybe they have something else.
That's why they weren't in church. Yeah.
So it just depends. For $9, I got that kind of.
Someone might wanted to sleep in that day and they didn't want to get up and go, but they wanted to watch it later, or maybe they were sick. There's they were out of town. There's all kinds of reasons. That's a really good example, because if you didn't do that, you would just say, oh, well, we had 80 people. But, doing it later at a different time is a great example. Okay. So you're going to do events, and it is on here about sending invites to your friends when you get your Facebook page going up. Don't be afraid to do that. And if you have employees, ask them to do the same thing. Ask them to send out the page too. While I'm speaking about your page, gosh, we're running out of time. Be sure that you're not the only admin on your page. Ask someone else to be an admin with you, just in case something happens. I've seen some really weird things happen where someone takes over your page from China and things like that and kicks you out of the group. That happened to someone that I know up in Pennsylvania. She contacted me to try to help her with it, and she wasn't even part of she wasn't even part of it anymore. It was the weirdest thing. So we got it straightened out through Facebook, but it took a long time. LinkedIn is business to business. Probably the majority of you don't have to worry about LinkedIn too much. There's information on here about creating your company profile on here, but I would say most of you probably don't have to worry about it. Your demographic is going to be more with Facebook and perhaps Instagram too. And we talked about Instagram, and Twitter is good for engaging customers. Anybody on Twitter now with your business? Noise. Are you on it? Yeah. Do you have good success with it?
So far, yeah.
Okay, good. Because that was the one social media platform that kept getting hacked of mine, and I finally got and then it started getting so political, and then it just, things were just not good with Twitter, and so I just decided that was not, it became a complaint place that I saw, where people were just wanting to go and complain, and it was just, they wanted immediate service, or they wanted this or that. If you have Twitter, make sure you monitor it all the time for hacking, for rude comments, for things like that. Complaints are where there's a lot of trolls on Twitter. On Pinterest, anybody using Pinterest? You guys.
We thought about it again.
You might want to dip your toe into Pinterest. And I say it because you can search for anything up here. What would you call your nutrition?
Nutrition, health and wellness, somewhere along those lines.
So did I spell nutrition right? So, you can just put a search up there for almost any topic, and things come up that, it kind of makes you think, well, maybe we should be there. There's recipes. There's, it's a lot of businesses are on Pinterest now. When Pinterest first started several years ago, there weren't a lot of businesses on it. It was more housewives sharing recipes and things like that, which still there's a lot of us on there. But, people have boards on Pinterest, and then they find things that they're interested in, they pin that photo or that recipe to the board. That's where you guys could be probably,
We also have, we're considering moving, well, we're going to be moving into menu planning and recipe.
Definitely look at that. Definitely look at
One thing about Pinterest, and this is just from the consumer part of it, because I used to consider myself a Pinterest junkie.
Oh,
I
are you
have
recovered
not had
now?
original thoughts since Pinterest came out. But,
Are you okay?
I'm okay. But here recently, I've noticed I'm kind of shying away from the Pinterest because it's just
Ads.
ad.
Well, that's what I say, that there's a lot of businesses on there now.
You can't even see the recipe because there's so many ads popping up. So.
Yeah, that is annoying, and that is one of the ways. I mean, I'm really a specialist in LinkedIn, but LinkedIn has gone so far with that kind of stuff too. Everything is sponsored. Everything is in your face. That's not your friends, and there's a lot of that on Facebook too. Now you can go in and put your settings to what you want to see and what you don't want to see, but it's still going to come back. It only lasts for about a month, and then it's right back in your face. As a consumer, that's really annoying. As a business person, that's what you want. So it's a double-edged sword. When you get into your business, you're going to be like, oh, it's good that this is all out there. But as a consumer, and you're actually, what I was talking about with it being mostly housewives when it first started, this is where we went for everything. And both of my daughters, when they got married, we had secret boards on Pinterest that we would put all the stuff in for the weddings, and only the three of us could see. And I mean, it was big, and so, that's what it's really, really good for, but you gotta get through all the other stuff, and I see them stirring and making this macaroni and cheese right in front of me, and I'm like, gosh, I'm hungry. I didn't even realize it. But, that's kind of cool when you think about it, that it's moving, and, you guys could film some videos of making some recipes and do something like that, and then you click on it and, stuff like that. So, don't discard it. Don't give up on it. Don't give up on it. But I don't want you to go back into the addiction phase with it, because that's not healthy. But you're out of it now?
I said I don't have time now.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure. It is like a rabbit hole. Yeah, for sure. We had to go over some of those really fast, but does anybody have any questions, because we're out of time? Okay. If you have questions, you can reach out to me. I didn't put my information on here, but good luck finding me. I'm going to be in Indiana. I'm just kidding. I still have the same email and phone number. If you need me, come up and see me, and I'll see if I have any business cards, or Sandy can give you stuff. And I'm happy to answer questions. And good luck with your business stuff. And I think all of you guys are on a good start. Dan, I have to show you something. I run a Facebook group, and it's on DIY home improvement, and I've got 35,000 people in my group. So here's my DIY home improvement group. And
Tell them that you were on an episode of DIY. You did a
oh, that's right. My husband and I redid a bathroom in our home in Kingsport on the DIY network, and that's the house we're selling. But see, I've got 34,478 members in this. So you could do a group where you didn't. Well, this is my group that I just started it because I'm interested, and my husband and I were doing a lot of things, and this is how a lot of groups kind of get started. So I thought, you know what, I need answers to some things, and I want to show off our projects, and also I started this project in like 5 years ago, I think, and it just started booming, and it grew so fast with people wanting to join that I all of a sudden had to shut things down, and that's a good thing. but I had to only take people that in United States and Canada. I couldn't take people from China and in Africa and stuff. I was like, we're not going to have the same products, and you're probably a spammer anyway. It's very restricted. I have to prove every single person who wants to join the group. I have 10 admin now from all over the country. I do this for free. Like, I don't get paid for any of this. None of us do. But my point to you is this is huge, huge out there now, and you're in the right business for that. You know, if you're any good, I don't know. You may not be. I don't see any. You're not any good. Neither am I. That's why I had the group started. But there's people in my group that are good. There's electricians, there's plumbers, there's masons and stuff. So people can post a question, and people will come back and answer. There's some trolls on there, but I kick a lot of people. I block a lot of people. I have blocked as many people from joining the group that we have in the group. That's how it got out of control. Don't be afraid to do that if you own a group. Keep it clean and keep it to your brand, and that's what I have done with this group. But I'm just saying that people post questions. But I've also seen the home improvement ones on here where they're not allowed to ask questions, where you post your stuff. And you may have a question for the day, like this lady said she's thinking about removing her only bathtub and make a walk-in shower. Will that make it harder to sell? You could get with a realtor, and you could have a post about that. You know, if you're thinking about doing this, let's see what a realtor has to say, and consult with a realtor and get the information, and just have a post that with no comments. You don't have to have comments on your groups or your pages. Keep that in mind. You'll get more engagement if you do, and you allow people to ask questions, but you don't have to. If you don't want to patrol it like I have to be like a policeman. I mean, I woke up this morning and there was 52 people that wanted to join the group. So I'm picky. I go into their profiles and I look, and if they have cuss words, or if they're, I'm like, block, 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 And I have 10 admin that help me with it from all over the country that have been in my group for a while. So it can be very time consuming, but if it's for your business, you could find the time or find somebody that knows Facebook to help you with it. So anyway, you guys are free to go, and I just wanted to tell him about that. And I do want your card. Do you have a card with you? Okay. Thank y'all.